Maybe listen to me speaking. No matter what, just let it go.
SSJ Lite. Ah, yes, I'm currently playing games all day and, of course, can't forget to work out. There you go. Get that physical activity in. 150 minutes a week. Moderate to vigorous. There we go, baby. Oh, that's my research. Let's talk about physical activity and set. You know, all right, we're going to talk about this real quick. Did you know that physical activity or physical inactivity is different from sedentary behavior, and both have very, very big consequences to them? Physical activity is basically that sort of exercise that you're used to, getting 150 minutes of moderate to vigorous activity a week. But sedentary behavior is people who sit down too much and they don't have healthy skills, healthy leisure skills, or because we're a post-industrial society, right? So we're past the industrialism, we're a modern society. And now that we're a post-industrial society, we actually have a very service-based economy. And it's interesting because when you look at how technology has adapted and how our society has adapted, we're more sedentary than what we ever have been before. Sedentary is that, sitting down, and that doesn't mean you're doing nothing, but it means behaviors where you sit down a lot. Now, at first, you may think, well, playing video games, you're sitting down, or watching TV. Well, that's actually your leisure skills. What about how much time you sit down transporting yourself to and from work or to and from school? That's sedentary behavior. What about sitting in school all day for 6 hours a day? That's awful for you physically. From a physiological standpoint, that's not good. You're not active. You're sitting down for 6 hours a day. And so what we have been able to do is we've actually been able to do separate research, because you can be physically active. You can go to the gym. Yes, great, healthy for you. 150 minutes a day, 150 minutes a week. Yes, you're in shape. You're feeling good. But then you work a business job. It takes you 2 hours to get there because of public transport. All right, and then you go home and you want to play video games for your leisure skill, and you realize, and then you sleep for hopefully 7-8 hours, depending on what you need for your own individual body. So you slept for 8 hours, you worked for 8 hours, so that's 16 hours, and then it was about an hour and a half to 2 hours of transportation. That's 18 hours of the day where you sat on your butt. Now, you did stuff, you were busy, you were getting places, purposeful, right? But physical activity will help you so much, but sedentary behavior is a whole separate thing. And there are actually physical, mental, emotional consequences of our excessive sedentary behavior. So working out, it's funny how we have done so good as a society to educate people on how physical activity is so important and how getting that exercise for 150 minutes a week is so important. But we have done a really bad job at educating the population on sedentary behavior and how sitting down too much is not only physically inactive, but it means you can have a sedentary lifestyle. As an example, you can go to the gym for 45 minutes, but then still have a very sedentary lifestyle where you just, you're in school for 6 hours, you go home, you grab some chips, you eat them, right? Because sedentary behavior is more likely to lead to also other unhealthy health risks, such as eating things that are not healthy for us, for example, or not really having good habits and routines. So it's interesting how sedentary behavior can affect us physically, emotionally, spiritually, and every biological sense. So then we say, all right, we'll go to the gym for 45 minutes and that's it. It's like, all right, good. You tackled all of the health risks when we are not physically active. Now let's talk about the sedentary health risks that we have, because you can be physically active in regards to you exercising, but live a very sedentary lifestyle. And by the way, sedentary behavior has its own health risk, separate from physical inactivity. They're two separate things, two separate health risks. Great, you're working out over here, but you're very sedentary over here. Let's talk about this. I'll get off my soapbox, I'm sorry. Anyways, SSJ Lite. I'm glad that you're working out. I'm glad that you're doing what you need to do, and continue supporting all the people that you feel is important for you to support. Just know that I support you, and thank you for supporting me. Say, no. I've had trichotillomania since I was a kid, but I went away for some time, and I guess this whole stay home and fear of family getting has sparked it, and now I have to wear a beanie out of embarrassment and to also prevent tugging more out. I have a bunch of fidgets, and it oddly started when I started seeing a psychiatrist again and got medication. I just want this whole thing to be over and back to normal again. I'm trying though. Say, thank you very much for sharing that information about you. That's very, very brave of you to come out and really tell us all what you're going through, especially in that public domain, and really telling us how this is affecting you particularly. Especially that you've gone to see a psychiatrist and you're seeking medication for such. Continue working with that psychiatrist, okay? That psychiatrist is not your enemy. That psychiatrist didn't go to school for 12 years to make your symptoms worse, okay? So, just as brave as what you were telling me what you're going through, I hope you can continue to be brave and have that communication, have that dialogue with your psychiatrist, and let them know what your thoughts and feelings are in regards to treatment, and letting them know the side effects and some of the behaviors and sort of responses physiologically that you feel like your body is doing right now, especially on a sensory level. And some occupational therapists work with that, our sensory needs and how our bodies are fidgeting. We call it proprioceptive input, where our body is looking for some sort of sensation. We see that fidgeting, where we're moving around. And there's a lot of occupational therapists who really specialize in sensory integration, who specialize in to really say, okay, this is your body's need. Your body is looking for something. Your body is looking for something to grab and fidget. We may not be able to eliminate the behavior entirely, so how can we make it more appropriate? Think about like a child, right? A child, when they're throwing their body against the wall. Why are they doing that? Well, it's because they have a lot of energy and their body is seeking it. A lot of people always think it's a behavioral thing, but sometimes your body, if you see a car crash, what's going to happen? Well, hopefully what's going to happen is you're going to go into a fight or flight response. Whoa, right? And that's because of all the chemicals that are being produced to make you alert and oriented. And you're like, wow, what? And then, things happen from there, and it happens physiologically different for different people. Some people go towards it. Some people run away from it. Some people pass out, right? So it's a sensation. It's a bodily need. When you see a child who's throwing themselves against a wall, it's not appropriate to always say, well, that child's, behavioral, this child. No, maybe that child's body is having a physiological response to a stimulus, and they're seeking something. They have a lot of energy, and they just need to have that input on their body, and they just smack themselves on the floor. And it's not that they're always, sometimes it's behavioral, but not all the time. Sometimes their body needs something, and we need to help facilitate that and to teach them how to do it in a manner that is more controlled. Now, with your diagnosis, I'm not saying that, by the way. That's just a separate rant. I'm just simply saying that, your bodily needs, I'm glad that you're seeing somebody for it. I'm very sad to hear that it's, it's very hard for you right now, especially in this moment. And I just want to tell you, I think you're remarkable. I think that you're brave for you being able to come here and talk about that and to discuss what you're going through. And, you said that you're wearing a beanie out of embarrassment, but yet you have the strength and courage to tell us that you're going through it. Listen, it's way, way too easy. It's way too easy and convenient in life to pretend like we don't go through things that embarrass us. You know what? You just shared something. I'm going to share something about myself. How about that? Right? Because I'm not your therapist. I'm not going to pretend to be. I'm your friend. That's what we're going to do. I've gained so much weight in the past year. I got like these stretch marks on my inner thigh. And, I didn't know what they were. I was like, oh my God, I got red marks on my thigh. Like, because, I've always been a skinny guy. I always weighed like 140. Now I weigh like 180. I'm becoming like a beefy dude because all I do is lift patients up all day, trying to get them up and moving. Like I eat so much now, and I feel I have so much more strength and whatnot. Anyways, I'm like, what are these red marks? Like, I feel like I should know. Like, I learned about skin integrity and all that stuff. What are these red marks? And yeah, my doctor's like, yeah, those stretch marks. You're getting fat. Not literally. We were joking around. He's like, that's what stretch marks look like. And I've been embarrassed about them. I've never had stretch marks in my entire life. I've always been a small, skinny dude. And now I put on a lot of weight. And, I'm trying to work out more. I'm trying to be more healthy. I'm like, what the hell? What the heck is this? And it's an embarrassment. I'm telling this to thousands of people right now. So you know what? You're going to share something embarrassing. I'm going to share something embarrassing because, again, I'm not your therapist. I'm your friend. And you're going to share something embarrassing. I'm going to share something embarrassing. I think you're courageous. I do. And I'm rooting for you. Continue working with your psychiatrist. Continue working well with them. They're going to know more about that than I do. Unfortunately, I have never had a patient with that specifically. So it would be inappropriate for me to talk about your diagnosis. I'm a young practitioner. I don't know and remember all the diagnoses. I wish that I had all this experience. I wish I had 25 years of experience. I'd probably be able to say things. But the thing that you deserve are people who are willing to help you. And that is important, that you're willing to help yourself. And it seems like your psychiatrist is there to help you. And it seems like you have the motivation to continue going in there. And unfortunately, treatment is not always this progress that goes like this. Unfortunately, with treatment, it can be very difficult because, and not with you specifically, but with my patients, it's like this. And you hope that it continues going up, but it's never usually just a straight line. And so continue fighting the good fight. You got this. I'm rooting for you. I really genuinely mean that. Thank you so much for sharing that story with me. Nemarin, I'm trying. Some of my family is at risk, so I've been doing as much as I can to help them out. I hope everyone is going to be okay. Hey, thank you for sharing that. I want you to continue helping your family and make sure that you help yourself, right? One of the most important things is that if you do not take care of yourself, you cannot take care of anyone else. Okay, remember that. Like when I work with patients, think of a patient with dementia, right? It's very taxing on the caregivers. Very, very taxing on the caregivers. And if you have, that word burnout that we talked about, or if you don't take good care of yourself, if you focus on everyone else, you cannot help them because you can't help yourself. And so I'm very glad that you're saying that you're going to continue taking care of yourself. And I know that your family is at risk. Do the best on your end to help protect them. And your family is very lucky to have somebody who loves them as much as you, where you're worried about them. I hope my family is worried for me too. That's a good family. I keep drinking this tea. Let's see, Daniela. Yep, thank you for asking. Greetings from the Philippines. Hope you're doing well there too. I love the people from the Philippines. Oh my God. I'm going to move on. But just know, thank you very much. I just think that Filipino people are awesome. All right, let's keep this going. Toki Hataki. I think I said that right. I'm trying. Better than I'll ever be during this pandemic, LOL. I love watching your live streams and videos. Can't wait for DVD global release so I can relate to everything you were talking about, LOL. How are you? I am doing very well. Thank you for your support. Transferring to another video game is never an easy thing. I'm not going to forget my roots with Identity 5, but transferring to more projects and more things is a daunting task, so having your support is super important to me. Thank you. Hikari. Yeah, but no, my mental health is definitely chipping away and my thoughts start getting bad around midnight. I've started eating more though, so yeah. Hi, Hikari. I think I said that correctly. So first of all, I want to thank you for sharing that with us and sharing that with me. In psychology, we learn that you have to have insight before judgment. So the fact is that you have insight in regards to your mental health feeling like it's chipping away, and especially with those negative thoughts. And one of those things, so if you have the insight in regards to your mental health chipping away, then it means that you haven't found that judgment yet. So my question to you is, what are some of the things that are in your control that will be beneficial for your mental health? Only you can answer that. I wish that I could talk to you more, because through that conversation, by talking to people who support you, it helps you be able to figure out some of our thought patterns. You know, when you enter the world of psychology, you think that it's going to be you talking a lot. You know, you're the psychologist. I'm not a psychologist. You're the one with the degrees in psychology. You're going to do all this preaching, maybe what I'm doing right now, right? But in reality, it's not like this. My YouTube is very different from my clinical interactions, because most of the time my client is talking to me. My patient is talking to me. And my job is to educate them in physical dysfunction, in the disease process, whatever they have. We educate on safety awareness, fall prevention. We educate on everything. But at the end of the day, if there's a conflict, it's important that we listen. You know, to pretend like I can understand your entire life, even in an hour conversation, is just awful. And so by talking and by letting it out in a healthy, productive manner, by you discussing this and over, and me asking the right questions to kind of get more information out of you. That's right. That's my job. I'm supposed to ask you questions. You know, like if I have a woman who's mad because her husband doesn't do the dishes. Well, on the surface, it's like, let's have the man do the dishes. But then it's like, all right, well, why does this bother you so much? Oh, well, you know, he always says he's going to do things, but he doesn't follow through. Okay. So is this about the dishes, or is this about dependability and consistency? Because even if we get your husband to do the dishes, is it going to resolve the real issue at core? See, the dishes is the action. It's like the result. It's like the final, it's like the craft of everything that you're waiting for, but it's the behaviors that you actually don't even give a damn about the dishes. You think you do. But it's not only the dishes, but it's about inconsistency, right? So I'm just giving an example. This has actually happened before. So when you talk to somebody, you ask those questions and you're like, I need more information. I need more, because when you're upset, when you're mad, when you're like, feel like you're losing a little bit, to pretend like you're going to be 100% accurate with every single thing that you say is not fair. Have you ever said something that you regretted when you were mad? I have. So it shows that when we're mad or upset or sad, we're not always 100% rational, and we're not always 100% poised. So if I only talk to you for an hour, there's no way I understand your situation. Not yet. We got to keep talking. We got to figure this out. I got some questions for you. Because when you're upset, when you're in a heightened state of mind, or if I'm addressing something, there's no way you're going to be 100% articulate in every little tiny thing. My job is to get that information out of you, to kind of lower that heightenedness and try to get that information out of you by asking these questions. And when I ask those questions, I'm making you think. And when you start thinking about things that you normally would not have thought about without me asking those questions, it gives you better insight. And if we can get better insight, we can produce better judgment. And the best way to do that is by allowing you to talk and me ask the questions. I want you to talk more than me. I don't want to talk more than 5%. Unfortunately, I don't have that opportunity with you. So what I can suggest is reach out. Reach out to people who will listen. And just like teachers, where you can have a bad teacher in science, so therefore you think science is bad, remember that the people we talk to, sometimes the people we talk to are bad, and then we think we don't like talking about our issues. So make sure that the people you talk to do a good job at listening, because it can help you gain insight into the things that are chipping away at your mental health. You know, one of the things you said is you're starting to have negative thoughts around midnight. Look into that. Why? Why at midnight? What's going on at midnight? Why not during the day? What's different between the day and at midnight? What are the things that you are doing during the day that you're not doing at midnight? These are some of the basic questions that I would ask you. Hang in there. I'm rooting for you. Reach out. Try to find a good support system, okay? I'm telling you, there's good support systems out there. Whether it's the people around you, family, friends. 7 billion people in this world. There's no way that there's not compatibility with people. Sometimes we just feel like they're not there, but they are. I am rooting for you. Hikari, again, thank you so much for talking about this, okay? Tristan, doing well. It's Easter break for my university, even though we transitioned to online classes. There you go. Online classes. You guys know how I feel about online classes. Good luck to you, Tristan. Thank you so much for responding to me, and continue doing well and taking good care of yourself. Random shit. Been kind of down recently, but I'm feeling a bit better. I'm taking pretty good care of myself. How about you? Same thing. Well, you're not going to be perfect at taking care of yourself. Just manage it. Do the best you can. You don't got to be perfect. Do the best you can. Manage it. You're doing a good job. Thank you for commenting. Oh, wow. You're so sweet. Oh, my God. I love you. So wholesome. I can be wholesome. It's a part of me. Is it everything? No. You guys know how I can get. Just watch some of my last videos. Quite provocative, if I may say so myself. But I do genuinely feel like I care for people. You know, it's different from video games when we get competitive and all that stuff. It's all garbage. There's a life outside of video games, and that's the side that I'm showing you today. So thank you very much for giving me those compliments. You know, I'm going to go on another rant. Let me drink my tea. Before I was dating Dari, you know, when I was a single guy, all this stuff. You know, one of the things that used to bother me so much is that if I compliment you, it's always somewhat like annoying, or you feel like you have to argue the compliment, like, because then you put me in a weird situation, you know. So say if I, you know, not, and then I say, oh hey, you know, yeah, whatever my introduction is and stuff, and I'll be like, listen, you look stunning tonight. And then you, instead of saying thank you, you argue it. Oh, no, I don't. It used to drive me nuts. And the reason being so is, first of all, it shows insecurity. To me, that's actually already a yellow flag. But then it might not be insecurity, and it might be that you're not used to compliments, which is okay. But when you say, no, oh, no, I don't. Well, I think you look stunning. I'm not asking you what you think about yourself. I'm telling you, I think you look stunning. Whether you agree or disagree, just say thank you. Because you're allowed to take a compliment. We're in like this weird like phase where like people can't, like, I think maybe because all of our interactions are online. Some people have no idea how to take a compliment. And the tea. When I drink the tea, it's like I got to burp, but I'm trying to like not burp. And some people just can't take compliments, and then you put me in this awkward position where if I say you look stunning, then you say no, not. It's like, now, well, I'm in this awkward position because you're either saying that I'm lying or now I got to defend it. You know, just say thank you. I feel like somebody would really profit off of YouTube if they just thought that, right? Just say thank you. You don't need to argue with people. You don't need to, you know, show a little bit of confidence. It shows to me that you don't have any but you lack a little self-confidence if I give you a genuine compliment that I feel is true, unless you call me a liar. So I'm giving you just say thank you. Even if you disagree, it's okay, but it's real to me. So I'm going to say thank you. And that's very nice. All right. Anyways, ooh, hi Perswayable. I can do that sometimes, by the way. I can do that sometimes. And then I gotta like check myself, because one of the things is that there's this popular saying. I'm not saying I necessarily agree with it full-heartedly, but it's creative, and I think it's relatively true. Is that when somebody says something to you, the first thought in your mind is relatively how you were probably raised and conditioned. And then the second thought that you have after thinking about it is based on you using all of the skills and abilities of rational reasoning that represents you better than the first thought, hopefully. And I think that's important. You know, like if I deal with somebody with prejudice, they have prejudice towards a certain group of people, you know, I tell them, you know, to a degree, prejudice is normal. You know, if you believe in evolutionary psychology, evolutionary psychology is there's some people who believe in it and some who don't, because it's very difficult to measure things in evolutionary psychology. It's not like evolution. And so if you can't measure it, how is it science? So it's a different conversation. But if you believe in evolution psychology, there are theories that prejudice is actually part of the human person. And if we pretend like prejudice isn't real, then we feel guilty about the prejudice. So what we do is we just disassociate from it. Some of us don't address it ever, but then the prejudice is still there subconsciously. As an example, like your prejudice is a survival instinct. You know, your first initial thoughts or feelings towards people when you look at them can theoretically increase your survival instinct, but also it can realistically lead you to very negative behaviors that leads to actions such as stereotypes, right? Or discrimination, rather. Discrimination is usually an action, whereas prejudice is more of a behavior, or rather thought. So anyways, with prejudice, when we talk about prejudice and all that stuff, that, right? So using the example of prejudice, right? That first thought that comes to your mind, hopefully over time we can address prejudice, and that even if we can't eliminate that first preliminary thought, we can address it with cognitive behavioral sort of approach where, all right, that was my first thought, that was garbage, right? Somebody told me to be prejudiced, or maybe that's also instinctually within my own self. But then how do I, what's that second thought? Am I allowed to, do I correct it, right? So that's what life is about. Your ability to take that and say, I'm being silly. You know, there's no reason to be like that with this person, right? So there's some thoughts about how much you can eliminate prejudice, and it's really about how you make sure that there's no actions based on it, there's no discrimination, and then you tackle the prejudice the best of your ability. My point in the matter, I know I'm using a ridiculous analogy, and I totally agree with you that it's a ridiculous analogy. My point is that in regards to being complimented, your first thought is probably going to say, oh no, that's not true. And it might be rooted in that first thought of insecurity, or first, but learn how to say thank you to compliments. That is so important to the world. If somebody compliments you, just learn, even if you disagree with them, you don't got to argue it. What's the point of it? What are you winning? You're winning an argument that doesn't exist. And then you're putting the other person in an awkward fucking position. I just went on a rant. And, oh, wow, thank you, by the way. I got love for you, too. Ooh, hi, Perswayable. BLT from your Discord. Can I get a heart? I gave you a heart. Hi, hey. I don't play Call of Duty Mobile as much, but thank you for being such a great supporter. I know exactly who you are. I see you commenting all the time. Toss, yes, and I hope you are, too. I'm doing great. Thank you very much. I'm a little tired. I'm not going to lie. I'm sure some of you guys can see that. I'm a little tired. I didn't sleep too well last night, but that was because of my own actions. So, Senzu. So far, my family and I are okay. Take good care of yourself, too. Thank you so much. Very busy right now, but I'm doing a good job. Feeling stressed about all this, plus finishing my master's degree. I try my best to keep a good mood, but it's hard. Well, a master's degree is difficult. All right, I think only like 5% of the population goes to graduate school. Am I right on that? I'm not looking up any of this stuff. It's all on the memory. Graduate school's hard. Master's degree is difficult, especially if you're research based. Even clinical based, it's stressful. I'm sorry that you're stressed, but remember that your stress makes sense. And you're doing your best to keep a good mood, but it's hard. Do the best that you can to find a way to reduce the stress. Don't worry so much about your obligation on the good mood aspect, but rather focus on identifying the things that will help promote a good mood, right? That's where I disagree with certain people within the psychology field. I actually feel like there's very few of them, but who are like, oh, think positive. No, think realistic. You're stressed. You're tired. Master's degree. It's a pain in the ass. Stressful for any student. All right. So I got to do all this. What are some things that I can help do to manage it and take care of myself? What are some things that can help me reduce that stress and help me relax just a tiny bit? And then the mood will come with it. But if we only say, think positive, you got to be happy, well, then you're not actually doing anything to make you happy other than you just telling yourself that you have to be happy. And then you feel this fucking burden of feeling a certain way. And then there's pressure to feel that way. And then there's pressure to maintain that way. It's a lot of responsibility on our shoulders. Holy shit. So try to find things that will help you relax. You will find that. You're bright. You will get that. And find ways to help manage it all. Thank you for sharing your story. I mean that. All right, Radu. I'm fine. Thank you. I hope you and your girlfriend are doing fine as well. We are. It's stressful because I can't be with her right now. If I ever went to Mauritius, it would be difficult to be an occupational therapist there. They don't really make a lot of money. So that's why I have to work in America so I can try to secure our future. And YouTube helps a little bit. This whole quarantine and online school crap has taken a toll on my mental health, and I miss my life before coronavirus shut everything down, but I'll just have to deal with it for however long I need for the sake of everyone else. Angel, that's very altruistic of you. Social distancing is important. I just laugh at the online school crap because as I shared earlier before, I get it. I really get it. And it taking a toll on your mental health makes a lot of sense. And you missing your life before the coronavirus makes sense because of that routine that we talked about, right? The routine and the structure and our habits that we have relative to our routines, all right? But I also like that you're having the ability to say, I'm going to deal with this, all right? So what I will say is that your mental health, however, it can still be addressed. Despite all of these changes, despite your social obligation, one that I, by the way, commend immeasurably, there are still things that we can do for your mental health. Right? This isn't like a you need to deal with it scenario. That's not fair to you. So it would go back to that. Make sure you're reaching out, you're talking to people and self-identify or identify through discussion with others, so long as that they're healthy and positive. Find things that will help you with that mental health, even if you have to adapt a little bit. Now you may be asking, what? Well, my job isn't really here to just give you the answer, because the answer could be wrong and that would actually only frustrate you more. And that's why it's important that through discussing this with your loved ones and people around you and talking and self-identifying or identifying through conversation the things that are reducing or are impacting your mental health, if you're able to gain that insight, then again, you'll improve your judgment. You know, to a degree, this might be the best time for you to explore things that may interest you. I know you may be confined into your house and your social dwelling. However, this is a good opportunity for you to be able to see what is bothering you, which it seems like it's the quarantine. It seems like what you're discussing, you're not able to follow that routine, etc. And ask yourself, okay, I've been able to identify that I feel sad. It's taken a toll on my mental health because my routine, my habits are different. My structure is different. My identification to my home and my environment is now changing. And now I got to deal with this online school crap, just as you said. That's a lot to deal with. So the question is that if you have to adapt all these things and they're affecting your mood, what are other things that you can adapt to improve your mood? If you have to adapt in all these ways in order to survive right now, well, your mental health is also important to that survival. So what else can you continue to adapt to help your mental health? And it's not fair for you to say that you can't adapt those things to help you when you're adapting things that are affecting your mental health, but that you, in order to survive, you need to do. So if you have to adapt your lifestyle to online school and not seeing your friends, then that means that there has to be things that you can adapt to also help you relax and find pleasure and meaningfulness in your routine. And you deserve that. And I think that you're quite smart and you'll be able to figure that out with time. I'm rooting for you, okay? Let's see, Kane. I'm doing great. My father is supporting our city by selling masks right now. He has sold over 2,000 masks and is still doing it. Are you doing okay? I hope you're safe in quarantine. Yep, my quarantine will officially start when my contract ends on that'll be this Friday. Again, I'm a traveling therapist. Thank you so much for what your father is doing. I really mean that. There's a lot of people that could use those masks. And again, I wrote a position a month and a half ago telling the CDC I thought that that was wrong. The data, the information suggests that masks are better than no mask. There were expert scholars from Hong Kong that also agreed with it. You had the Czech Republic that made it mandatory for all of their citizens to wear a mask of some sort. So I think the CDC, unfortunately, was off the mark. However, what I do want to focus on is that your father is doing a remarkable thing. And it seems like the fact that you're talking about it is bringing you pride. And I want you to know that that's well deserved. And congratulations to your father for helping their fellow countrymen and women. And I am safe, and I hope that you're safe as well, and continue helping. Be very proud, and let your father know that I personally thank him. The random Perswayable guy on YouTube. I genuinely thank him. Thank you for helping out people who are around you. That is it's such a great thing when people look at that civic responsibility. I'm serious. Good for him. Fructose, not gonna lie, very stressed between school, isolation, stupid people, etc., but hanging in there. There you go. And now remember, Fructose. First of all, Fructose, thank you for always being so supportive. I mean that. School and stupid people, they were there before the coronavirus. So you've been dealing with them in your own way. Continue doing that. Now, I know it might be a little different, right? School might be a little different. Maybe different stupid people, as you put it, right? But your ability to deal with them has always been there. So the isolation may affect that a little bit. And just like you were saying, you're hanging in there. So you're managing. That's what hanging in there means. You're managing. So find things that will help you manage that stuff a little bit better. Like I said, routine, leisure skills, your own behaviors, you'll be able to figure that out. But thank you so much for commenting. Fructose, you are such a great person, a very valued person in this community, and I hope you know that. Hero Brian of BVR. Well, for the most part, yes. I've just been doing my senior year of high school online and gaming. Hey, don't just say, I've just been doing my senior year of high school. High school was harder for me than college, so hang in there. What you're doing is good. It's not the easiest thing in the world. And keep persevering, all right? High school's a bitch. Fur Blood, you know it. Hey, thank you for all that nice support. Lynn's right. Definitely trying to stay positive. I take care of my mom. That's 73, and also am just a clerical worker at the local hospital. Keeping everyone in my prayers. Much love, Perswayable. So, hi, Linz. First of all, staying positive can be important, but making sure that we do positive things for our body, mind, and spirit is also important. So I hope that you're doing those things. Taking care of your mom who's 73 is no small task. When I have a new patient, I also worry about caretaker burnout. There's a lot of pressure on caretakers people who take care of the elderly. And there's a lot of things that can happen to caretakers. They can be burdened by, lifting their folks up, or dealing or working and managing with the emotional needs. It's very taxing. And we feel this obligation, rightfully so, to do the best that we can. But you're also a human. You are not going to be perfect. It's the same thing if I'm working with a parent with a child who has, let's say, plagiocephaly or torticollis. Plagiocephaly is kind of like the indent on the head, and then they feel responsible because the child lays on their back a lot. Or torticollis, where kind of like this, where their head is rotated to a specific side, right? So their muscles are really shortened. And anyways, so whether it's pediatrics or geriatrics, caretaker burden is a very real thing. And you're still a human. You're not going to be perfect. So don't try to set yourself up for that expectation. I feel like a lot of my patients, caretakers, they internalize some of the things that they don't feel like they're doing the best on. And they're like, I try to take care of my mom. I try to take care of my dad. Or a parent who says, I try to take care of my child. I do the best that I can. Why am I not perfect? And it's like, you're not supposed to be perfect. You're not going to be a perfect caretaker either. There's going to be days that will frustrate you. Right? Your child, your baby will frustrate you. There'll be days where you're like, what the fuck? Right? And the same thing when you have to work a job and you have to take care of a caretaker. There is a thing called caretaker burnout. It's a very real thing. What you're doing is remarkable. It is not easy, and you should have very realistic expectations of yourself. And when you say that you're just a clerical worker at the local hospital, you are a clerical worker at the hospital, not just a clerical worker. Your job is important for that hospital. You are a healthcare worker. Healthcare workers are not just doctors and PTs and OTs and nurses. That's all bullshit. Healthcare worker is anyone who is in a building that is taking care of patients or inadvertently, in some way, shape, or form, helping patients. You are helping patients. That's your job. You're part of a bureaucratic system, a system that's filled with bureaucracy, laws, and regulations, and administration is a very important job to continue things to keep flowing in the river of bullshit of red tape. You are a healthcare worker. You are not just a clerical worker. Thank you for what you do. And thank you for taking care of your mother in your best ability, and I hope that you're taking a good care of yourself. I mean that. Don't be hard on yourself. Your mother is lucky to have you, even at 50%. And there'll be days you're at 50% because I have never met a human as a clinician that is always at 100%. Thank you so much for commenting. I appreciate that. Lisa Wang, I just discovered IDV recently and has been killing my time like nothing else, both trying to improve and watch your videos along with great what the fuck moments, complications. And I couldn't be enjoying myself more. Lisa, I'm glad that you found Identity 5. I hope that the video game brings you tremendous joy. It did for me for a very, very long time. It can be a very, very fun game, especially when you first join it. And if it's bringing you this much meaning and joy, please, please continue doing so. Keep doing it. And thank you for commenting. Varsari, I said that wrong. I butchered that name. There's a lot of lines and wiggles in the letters. I couldn't even say my name, Eric. So just, bear with me. I'm doing fine. Thank you for asking. Nevertheless, I am worried about the current situation. Even so, I'm trying to stay safe and healthy. How about you? How are you doing? Thank you so much for being concerned about me as well. I am doing very well. I mean that. Thank you so much. And continue doing fine. Fine is better than not fine. So continue that. Kanji. I do deep cleaning as a job, so I tend to be a bit worried when I go out. Not really my choice to stay inside, but we seem to be doing well. Hope y'all have been safe and healthy. Yes, Kanji. A bit tired, but I'm good. And continue doing your thing over there, Kanji. Thank you for being a remarkable person. Hey, deep cleaning is important. Stops the spread of the virus, right? Hang in there, Kanji. You're doing great. Netflix D. Yes, I am, but online schooling is a pain. Oh, we've talked about that, Netflix D. We have talked about that. I agree with you 100%. Hoa Petty Hap Hap. A close cousin got hit hard by the disease. We planned on playing a lot of games this spring break, and it turned to being a depressing fest. His body has been feeling weak throughout the last couple of days, and his parents insist on staying home since they believe hospitals wouldn't really help. While I don't think they are wrong, they should at least call a doctor on what to do, rather than assume a week on the bed would be good enough. I'm trying to hit the read more, but it's lagging a little bit, and I'm sorry about that. So we're going to wait for that comment to read more. Oh, I didn't click it. Besides that, I've been trying to make friends on Identity 5 and grinding on WoW Classic to not get the boredom disease and become a stubborn American. Also, I am grateful for your work, Perswayable, both as a content creator and a hospital professional. Stay safe, everyone. Thank you for that comment. I don't work in the hospital currently. I work in a skilled nursing facility. So when you leave the hospital after a surgery or something, if you're not safe to go home, you come to me and I make you so you can go home. That's my job. First and foremost, let's talk about this comment. I'm very sorry about your cousin. It seems like you think that your cousin got hit with the disease, but it seems like your cousin has not been officially diagnosed based on your words saying that this person hasn't gone to the hospital. One of the difficult things right now is that the coronavirus is something that has been added to the things that we are concerned about. It doesn't replace, like that when people are like, oh, the coronavirus is like the flu. No, it's not. It's not like the flu. It doesn't come from the influenza family. The mortality rate is significantly higher than the flu, and it's something that you have to worry about as well as the flu. So the most important argument within that is that by when you say that it's like the flu, you're essentially saying that it's like the flu. All right, well, no, because you got to worry about the flu and you got to worry about the coronavirus. It's two added things. So right now, a lot of people, when they get the symptoms of the coronavirus, we tell them to go and get tested. So my official recommendation to the family always is go get tested. If you have symptoms that are relative to shortness of breath, you got a cough, even gastrointestinal issues. I think within like 40% of the time, people have gastrointestinal issues. I think like 1 to 3% have pink eye, fatigue. So this doesn't, by the way, mention all of the symptoms. There's many symptoms, right? Go and get checked. That would be my recommendation. Always consult with your doctor. Your doctor is there to help you. They didn't go to school for 12 years not to help you. They're there to help you. So, but what's difficult right now is that some people always have these issues, especially right now, especially with it being relatively around that time of where some people can get the flu symptoms. People have seasonal allergies. And then remember, some people just get sick regardless of the coronavirus. So it's a tough thing. My recommendation is that if they have the symptoms, go talk to a doctor. Maybe they did, maybe they didn't. You're saying they didn't. Unfortunately, that's the family's decision, not mine. And hopefully you're advocating in your own way of your own concern. You're allowed to do that. But continue doing things. I'm glad that you're playing on IDV and WoW Classic. I made sure I avoided WoW Classic. I knew that I would get super addicted to it. But keep playing your video games and make sure you find some healthy leisure skills and make sure that you do the best of your ability to take care of yourself and manage all this. And thank you so much for sharing your comment. Ping T, yeah, I am. Good. Quick, easy answer. Thank you, Ping. Rin, yes, definitely. Thank you for the concern, Persway. Always, Rin. Always. Love Nyaners. Yes, I'm doing all right. For months, I've been working on a game dev project dedicated to the person this channel is dedicated to. I love that my fan works will eventually help her, but for that, I need to work hard and get better and rest. I take university lectures from home. I've been following your channel for quite some time, and I like the way you explain things. I also recently started playing DBD Mobile, and I hope that your future guides will help me. I wish you good luck in everything you do. It's a lot. So hopefully my guides will help you. I would like to become a top player just like I was in Identity 5. I've invested over 300 hours. I am a rank 1 killer in Survivor, and I have confidence that there are many rank 1 killers in Survivor. So hopefully that they'll help the community as well. My main concern is making sure that other players get good at the game, because you have that potential. It's just about the amount of time you invest in a video game. That's my belief, at least these ones. Good luck with your game dev project. I do mean that. I wish you the best of luck with that. Online university lectures, definitely a pain in the ass. It sounds like you got a lot of work that's going on right now. And make sure you do that and you take good care of yourself. And thank you for responding, by the way. Korea Boo, doing great. Good. That makes me happy. Thank you for commenting, Korea Boo. Nicole Heinzen, I'm doing fine and dandy. I really miss my friends in going to a grocery store without being scared of being operated on because everyone is wearing a mask. You know, there is a... So, you know my belief, wearing a mask is better than not wearing a mask. But if I'm going to be objective, there are a lot of studies out there, a lot of opinion pieces that talk about the negative psychological effect of constantly seeing people wearing surgical masks, especially if you live in more of a Western society, because we're not used to it. And that's a real thing too. So I don't want you to feel shameful of that, because there are a lot of people who see those surgical masks and it equates to being operated on or or medical issues. It's interesting to know that on the east side, the eastern side, there are some countries, not all, they're all individual countries over there, that have worn face masks for a while, even use it as a fashion statement. So it's interesting how our geographic location and our cultural values have led us to this sort of viewpoint of what surgical masks really represent. But listen, Nicole, thank you very much for giving me your insight. I appreciate that. And I'm rooting for you, and continue to take good care of yourself, okay? Gina, trying my best. I'm spending a year abroad, so I'm pretty much alone now with my landlords, and my anxiety is getting worse. Combined with my messed up schedule, I'm having trouble sleeping, skipping meals, and I hate not going out with friends. Working from home at the moment, so at least there I'm chatting a lot with my best friend and low-key crush. Ooh, we could talk about that. Why can't I hit the read more button? I'm telling you, I'm never opening. And he's always making me smile and just brightens up my days. He also made me start running and spending more time outside, which is really nice. Hope I'll be able to see him and all the other people again soon. It's kind of scary. Stay safe, everyone. Well, I'm glad that you're trying your best. And spending a year abroad, oh God, this is such a difficult time to do that. I'm very sorry. You know, studying a year abroad is supposed to be an opportunity where you can, you know, experience the culture and the language and the food and the fact that this has somewhat compromised that. I'm sorry, and you have, and I hope that you're doing the best that you can. That's manageable for you to enjoy your time there. All right, that doesn't mean you're not allowed to be sad by the circumstances. That would be perfectly reasonable. All right. But your anxieties are getting worse, as you said. So it seems like you have a few things that you are able to identify. You're talking about your messed up schedule. You're talking about your trouble with sleeping. You're skipping meals. And obviously you're not going out with friends. So it really sounds, based on those 4 things, it actually sounds like it's your routine. And especially your anxieties, there can be things that are going on there as well in regards to the pandemic, your own health, the people around you. It would depend on what that anxiety is triggering it and where that anxiety leads to. So there's no way that I could address all that within this one sort of video. However, what I do want you to know is that I'm glad that you have found somebody that you could communicate with and somebody who could help you feel better. Especially now that you're running and you're spending a little bit more time outside. The big thing is is that I'm glad that you have found somebody who makes you feel happy and is helping you through this. A support system is so important, and I'm glad that you have a support system. However, a support system will not always fix all of the other stuff you're going through. So the big thing that I would do is not only perhaps discuss it with him if you feel comfortable, or discuss it with somebody, but also look within yourself and ask yourself, what is triggering these anxieties? What specifically, and what can you control? You know, you said combined with my messed up schedule, you're having trouble sleeping and you're skipping meals. And so it's good because you have part of that insight in regards to what you're working with. So continue identifying the things that are increasing that anxiety, and then ask yourself, how do I make this manageable? Because if you can make it manageable and you can get yourself in a good routine and do the activities of daily living, you know, those are things that are important to you. Like your ability to feed yourself, your ability to go to the bathroom, as silly as that sounds, your ability to dress yourself, your ability to do self-hygiene. I've had people who have been depressed and then they can't do their self-hygiene, but by helping them with their self-hygiene, it gives them that routine, gets them into that sort of habit and ritual of doing it. They take care of themselves better, and then I see positive effects on their overall health, and I actually see clinical symptoms of depression going down. It's, you know, that's when they also preferably have psychotherapy with it, or perhaps medications. I'm not saying that occupational therapy cures that. I'm just simply saying we look at the consequences on a functional level, right? So look at your life and ask yourself, am I living functionally? Am I taking care of myself? Do I have structure? Do I have a routine? Am I doing the things that I need in order to take care of myself? And if not, well, then what can I do? And that's something for you to answer as well. But I'm glad that you have a support system. So continue looking at that, continue looking at yourself, and continue persevering. I think that you can do it. I mean that. And I hope that you stay safe as well. I think it's Slafer Slacker. Technically, nope. I'm eating junk food, taking a lot of naps, and smoking a lot of cigarettes from boredom. But corona-wise, yes. Yeah, so you're doing good by not getting the coronavirus, but make sure that, you know, there are still health consequences of that. So, you know, not only is it good to avoid that coronavirus, but remember, it's good to also take care of yourself and to do the best that you can. And I have faith that if anyone would be able to do it, it would be you, because you understand, you have the insight that there are behaviors that you're doing that are a little bit more atypical than normal, right? You're eating more junk food, or you're taking a lot of naps. It sounds like that's not how you normally are. So that's up to you as to whether if you want to control them or not. If you don't, that's up to you. If you do, then I have faith that you'll have that ability to. But hey, listen, thank you for commenting. I appreciate that. I really mean that. I appreciate that you took time out of your day to reply to me, and I hope you know I care about you. Take good care of yourself. If not for yourself, also for the others, but you deserve it for yourself. What kind of chips you eating? You eating any good ones? I just had some jalapeno chips over there. Not gonna lie, I don't ever eat chips, so I'm over here like, say, take good care of yourself, and here's Perswayable eating kettle cooked jalapeno chips, so I get it. Yashida Khan, yes, my family are doing fine. Wish you same thing. Thank you very much. From my family to yours, continue taking good care of yourself. Ray YouTube, I've been okay just doing college stuff. Hey, there you go. Honestly, that's college. Shauna, I love you. Thanks for caring about us. I've been well. Lots of DoorDash and online grocery shopping. I love you too. And of course I care about you guys. You guys are remarkable. The fact that you can tolerate me makes you a remarkable person by default. They should put that in the DSM-6. If you can tolerate Perswayable, you're a good human being. Continue doing what you need to do in order to take care of yourself. Thank you for your positive comment. Apple Cruise, I mean, I guess, so I'm just locked in my apartment doing online school and making YouTube videos, and my sister's birthday is tomorrow, I think. Welcome to growing up. Well, you don't remember anyone's birthday. I'm just kidding. Type A people are great at that. For me, I'm like, I don't know. I don't remember people's birthdays. I gotta write it down, and I gotta make sure I get like 1 million notifications. Yeah. My anniversary. I remember at one point with Darielle, I'm like, when's our anniversary? We were like dating for like 7 months. I didn't even remember it. My dad's birthday, I'm still like, I think it's in November. I'll have to message my mom and be like, is it November 5th or November 6th? Or November 4th? And then my oldest brother, she'll be like, tell your brother happy birthday. And I'm like, what month is it? And she's like, it's today. And I was like, oh. All right. So, but yeah, locked in the apartment. I understand that, or I will in a few days. Online school. You guys know my opinion on that. And yeah, keep making YouTube videos as long as it brings you good meaning and purposefulness, okay? What's going on, everybody? That is kind of an abrupt ending to the episode 2 of this 5-episode series. I hope that you guys are enjoying it. This is my way of really giving back to the community. Still trying to do 2 videos a day. Maybe going to experiment a future podcast. I know a lot of people kind of like the educational segment and talking about some science and research. So if you're interested in that, just make a comment so I know.